Hello, everyone. I'm so excited that you decided to spend this time with me today because I honestly believe that this webinar has the potential to change much more than your next interview. It can change the way you think under pressure, the way you speak under pressure, the way you lead yourself under pressure. And when you learn to lead yourself, everything else begins to change. So whether you're interviewing next week, graduated from college, changing careers, returning to work after raising a family, or simply preparing for future opportunities, this webinar is for you. Because opportunities don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they knock, sometimes they call, sometimes they arrive disguised as one interview that changes the trajectory of your life. The question isn't, will opportunity come? The question is, who will you be when it does? And that's what self-mastery is really about. My name is Lisa Drew. I'm an educator, a coach, an author, and a speaker, and someone who has spent years studying the question, why do incredibly qualified people consistently undersell themselves and struggle during interviews? And I found that it's not because they lack talent, not because they lack education, not because they lack experience, because pressure changes people. It is because pressure changes people. Pressure changes memory. Pressure changes communication. Pressure changes confidence. And here's something that nobody really teaches. The interview isn't testing your qualifications nearly as much as it's revealing your relationship with yourself. Once again, I'm Lisa Drew, self-mastery coach, author, speaker, educator. I want to start by defining what self-mastery is, because I think it's oftentimes misunderstood. Self-mastery isn't about controlling everything around you. It's learning to lead yourself regardless of what's happening around you. So you don't control the interview questions. You don't control who else applied. You don't get to control whether the interviewer had a bad morning. You don't control whether they're having budget cuts, and you don't control whether another candidate has 20 more years experience. But you do control something far more important. You control your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, your focus, your story. And those 5 things determine almost everything about how you show up in that room. I want everyone to type one word in the chat. What's the first emotion that you feel when you hear or read in your email, congratulations, we'd like to invite you for an interview? Type just one word. Nervous, excited, fearful, pressure, hopeful, anxious? Here's my next question. Did the email create those emotions, or did it just reveal them? The invitation doesn't create fear. It uncovers it. And that's why self-mastery matters. I want you to remember one thing. Whatever is inside of you is what is going to come out of you. Whatever is inside of you is what is going to come out of you. There was a man standing in a coffee shop. He was about to sit at his table. Someone rushed in through the door trying to go to the line to order his coffee and bumped into him. Coffee spilled everywhere. Why did coffee spill from that cup? Some people say it's because someone bumped him. Other people might say maybe the man wasn't holding the coffee cup carefully enough. He wasn't paying attention. The fact of the matter is, coffee spilled from the cup because coffee was in the cup. If juice was in the cup, juice would have spilled. If water was in the cup, water would have spilled. In life, we can't control the outside, but we can control what's inside of us. We can't control the bump. We can't control what it is that irritates us on the outside. But we can determine what comes out of us if we're careful about what we are putting into ourselves and what we are allowing to stay within us. The same way that you cannot squeeze apple juice out of an orange and you cannot squeeze orange juice out of an apple, whoever you are will be revealed when life bumps you. Whoever you are will be revealed when pressure hits. So since we can't control the outside world and we can't control the pressures that are going to come, they are going to come. We need to control what we allow to stay inside of us. So the interview is an emotional MRI. Let's get into it. I call interviews emotional MRIs. An MRI doesn't create an injury. It reveals it. An interview doesn't create insecurity. It reveals insecurity that was already within you. It doesn't create self-doubt. It reveals the self-doubt that was already within you. It doesn't create perfectionism. It reveals the perfectionism that was already in you. And here's the good news. Anything that can be revealed can be transformed. Lesson number 1, your mind speaks before you do. So let me ask you a question. Who talks to you more than anyone else? You do. Thousands of thoughts every single day. Now imagine walking into an interview while your mind is saying, don't mess this up. Don't sound stupid. Don't forget what you practiced. They're probably interviewing someone better. In that moment, do you realize what's happening? You're interviewing yourself before they ever ask you one question. And most people fail that interview, not because they're incapable, but because it's happening subconsciously. Self-mastery begins with awareness. You can't change the conversation until you begin to hear the conversation. Your first interviewer is your inner voice. Self-mastery for interviews is going to help you begin to hear that inner voice, and it's going to take you through the steps of changing it. I once worked with someone who had incredible qualifications, master's degree, over 10 years experience, outstanding recommendations, but every interview ended the same way for them. They would pick someone else. I finally asked them, what are you saying to yourself while you're waiting in the lobby? She looked surprised. Then she said, I keep telling myself, don't blow this. And there it was. She had spent years mastering her profession, but she never mastered her self-talk. We didn't change her resume. We didn't need to. We began to change her relationship with herself. Instead of Don't blow this. She started saying, let's show them how I can help them. One sentence completely changed her energy. 3 interviews later, she accepted an offer. Self-mastery lesson number 2. You cannot perform beyond your identity. You cannot perform beyond your identity. Now, there's something that I call baseline identity. Baseline identity is an inner thermostat. In your house, if you have your thermostat set at 65 degrees, if you go above that temperature, your system is going to kick in and bring it back to that temperature. If it drops below that, same thing. It will be raised back to that same temperature. We each have our baseline identity. You have a baseline identity about your finances. You have a baseline identity about your relationships and what you can achieve and what you should have and what you deserve in that area. You have a baseline identity about what other people think of you and how they're going to perceive you. You cannot perform beyond your identity. So this might be the most important thing that I say tonight. You cannot consistently perform beyond the identity that you hold about yourself. If deep down you believe you're an imposter, you'll communicate like one. If deep down you believe you're lucky just to be there, you'll sound like you're asking permission. If deep down you believe you have the value, your answers become completely different. The same experience, the same resume, different identity, different interview, different outcome. Interviews don't reveal your resume, they reveal your identity. Self-mastery lesson number 3. Emotional regulation is a career skill. Nobody teaches this, but they should. Emotional regulation is one of the most valuable professional skills you'll ever develop. Imagine 2 candidates, both know the answer. One hears a difficult question and panics, speaks faster, starts rambling, apologizes, loses their train of thought. The other hears the same question, pauses, breathes, smiles, and says, "That's a thoughtful question. Let me think about that for a moment." Who appears more confident? The second person. Not because they're smarter, but because they regulated themselves before they responded. I'm going to tell you the secret. When you are in an interview situation and they ask you a question and your adrenaline starts rushing, you are not thinking clearly. Your brain has gone into survival mode. That pause, that breath, that relaxing your body is going to put you back into your logical brain. And you are going to be able to answer questions clearly. A regulated system is going to help you respond instead of react. So here's something that I want you to remember forever. The space between the question and your answer is where self-mastery lives. Most people react. Self-mastered people respond. Reaction is automatic. Response is intentional. I'm going to say it again. Reaction is automatic. Response is intentional. Have you ever sent a text to somebody that you immediately regretted? Of course. Why? Reaction. Have you ever argued with someone and 30 minutes later thought, I wish I'd handled that differently? Reaction. Have you ever spoken too quickly because you were nervous? Reaction. Interviews aren't the problem. They simply magnify whatever habits already exist. If you panic during the interview, there's a good chance pressure affects you in other areas too. That's why learning self-mastery doesn't just make you a better interview candidate. It makes you a better communicator. It makes you a better leader. It makes you a better spouse, a better parent, a better coworker, a better decision maker. Because every day presents moments where you must choose between reacting and responding. Self-mastery lesson number 4. Stop trying to impress people. I think this is where so many candidates lose themselves. They're trying so hard to impress the interviewer. They stop being authentic. They become overly formal. They over-explain. They stop listening because they're rehearsing their next answer in their head. Here's a better route. Don't try to impress, try to connect. Don't ask, how can I make them think I'm amazing? Ask yourself, how can I help them understand the value I bring? Better questions can calm our nervous system. Better questions can help us think more clearly. One approach is seeking approval. The other approach is going to create connection and trust. Stop performing. Start connecting. This is exactly why I wrote the Interview Confidence Code. Yes, you'll learn how to answer questions in the book. Yes, you'll learn how to prepare. Yes, you'll learn how to communicate your experience. But beneath every chapter is something much deeper. You will learn how to master your thoughts before they master you. You'll learn how to regulate your emotions before they hijack your voice. You'll learn how to replace self-doubt with self-awareness. You'll learn how to communicate from confidence instead of fear. Those lessons don't end when the interview does. They follow you into presentations, salary negotiations, leadership meetings, conflict, networking, public speaking, relationships, parenting. They follow you into life. Because interviews aren't really about getting a job. They're one of the cleanest, clearest mirrors you'll ever have for seeing yourself. And once you learn how to lead yourself, you'll never walk into another interview or another opportunity the same way. So I want to thank you so much for making it to the end of this presentation, of this webinar, Self-Mastery for Interviews. The Interview Confidence Code is an ebook that I am so excited about because I know it's going to transform the way that you interview. It's going to transform your relationship with yourself. It's going to transform your life. So the link is below to go ahead and get that ebook. It will be delivered directly to your email once you purchase the book. And if you would like to have one-on-one coaching, go ahead and message me and we'll have a conversation. See what your goals are, see your timelines for improving your interview skills, and we'll see if it's a good match. But I thoroughly enjoyed having this time with you today. Again, my name is Dr. Lisa Drew, self-mastery, life coach, author, speaker, and educator. And I will see you next time.